can hardly touch it, but probably not hot enough. So,
Yep, castor in the oil.
but in the fuel, you mean? Hot?
Yeah, castor in the fuel. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long had it sat?
Oh, 30 years.
Well, at least it probably didn't rust.
No, I don't think so. I get it cleaned up pretty good. It's just
The other thing you can do is you can add in the exhaust, you can just add a little bit of new fuel.
yeah, I did that and then took the plug out and put it in the top. In the
Yeah, well,
cylinder.
that'll help. But I always use the Monaco gun, heat gun, to just warm it up. You can bring it up slowly, and you don't take a chance of messing things up. Other people do it other ways. That's just the way I've always done it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people take them apart, put them in the antifreeze cooker and cook it overnight. But that'll take the green off the head of that KMB.
Yeah.
But they sell green paint. You get it. You probably get some heat resistant from John Deere. Jim, I haven't seen you look this serious in years.
Who was that directed toward, Jim? I mean, John?
Jim Hoffman.
Oh, Jim Hoffman. Oh.
He's got his muted.
Yeah, he's muted. You're muted, Jim.
I'm a magnet for comments.
Keith's in the house. He's muted.
Yeah.
There he goes. Hi, Keith.
Hi, Keith.
There you
Hello,
go.
Keith.
What's going on? I'm late.
No worries. I'm my throat is hurting me and I can't talk a lot, so hoping you guys could help me out.
What's on the agenda tonight? That's the problem. We have no agenda, huh?
Right.
Well, we're going to talk about the new entry to the Clover. I couldn't help it.
Well, somebody's always got to bring that up.
Jim had something he wanted to show, I think.
Yeah, Jim's going to share something here pretty soon.
Yeah.
You want to do that? I could do that.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Let's see. Give me one moment here. So here's what I'm going to share.
Ooh, how to or?
I guess, I don't know if it's much of a how-to. The latest project that I'm working on is an I-beamer for classic stunt. It's an airplane called the Lunar. Warren T. Hart built one and drew it up, and I have Warren's airplane here. It's actually in the room right with me, and I'm building one, and basically I'm going to clone his airplane, and he cloned the airplane from Art Pawlowski, and I met Art Pawlowski's son, who lives in Southern California. There's only been 3 built ever. Art's original that somehow ended up with Bill Wearwidge. And Warren got his hands on that airframe and used it to draw plans and build his own. And then number 3 is mine. But what I'd like to share with you, before I lose all the screws there, is the wheel pants. These are just basic balsa wood wheel pants, but a lot of people build them in one piece and the wheel is in there forever. So mine is 2 pieces. It's solid. Let's see. It's a solid block on the inner core, and then the outer surfaces are a piece of, I think, 1/4 inch sheet. It's just thin enough. Put it together. It's reasonably thin wheel pant,
That looks good.
and it's got a line nut on the inside. I have 2 points, front and back, number 2 screws, and so it splits so that when the time comes, these very lightweight wheels that are foam, you get about 100 flights and they start to wear, but they're cheap. And so I replace them all the time. So I look at Warren's airplane, it's right above my computer, and I've seen people cut into their beautiful balsa wheel pants to change a tire. So these are built this way. And then what I'll do is, if you can see, there's a seat for the music wire landing gear. And I will simply use RTV silicone to hold that in place. It's got a guide here to locate it, and there's a slot right there, so it'll seat nicely. And I've been using silicone gear to hold wheel pants and wheel doors onto music wire for 30, 40 years now, all successful. So that's the plan.
Very
Very
nice.
light.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks good, Jim.
Thank you.
But I'm dying to see what the Lunar looks like.
Lunar.
Lunar. Can you?
All right, I'll try. You want to see mine or you want to see Warren's?
It doesn't matter.
Warren's is easier. Let's try
Okay.
it.
And by the way, Mark Wise, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Oh,
No
that's-
problem. I actually brought an airplane, so
All right. That looks
Yeah.
good. That
Yeah.
looks
Later on.
great.
That is a pretty airplane.
oh,
That
that
is
is
great.
nice.
This is a 20-point airplane. This I go through it. I'm trying to duplicate it, and finding flaws is near impossible.
Wow.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. Love the colors.
Yeah.
I do too.
That's nice.
The colors are the same as the original.
Really?
Yep, and I'm going to try to duplicate these colors as well.
Nice. Very nice.
That is nice.
Very nice. So that's Warren's. It weighed about 42 ounces, ready to fly,
Wow.
with an Aero Tiger 36. And mine is on track to be about right there too.
What are you going to power yours with? An Aero Tiger?
Yeah, I've got
Good
a couple
engine.
Aero-
It's nice.
And that is a real, honest to goodness Detroit I-beamer.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was struggling with what to build, and this one is nice. It's got a better airfoil than most I-beamers. It's a little thicker, so that's what pushed me to build it.
Thought you were going to say push you over the edge.
So my airplane's in gray primer right now.
Oh. Well, you got a good start. You'll probably make it for VSC then. Little
Let's see,
tongue in
that's
cheek
in
there.
March. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. People are
That's
getting
very nice.
tired of my USA One. So
Not me. Let me say hi to everybody else. Howard, Rush, thank you for coming in. And Dennis Adamison, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And my voice is hurting, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking.
All right.
I'm going to
Charles,
try to
can
keep
I-
up with the chats.
Can I show you what I got?
Yeah, yeah. Please let me
Okay.
make you big here. Spotlight you, in other words.
There we go. I got a little bar in the middle. I'm not sure what that is. There you go. A little history. Bob Hunt and I, 12 years ago, became well, we call each other brothers, which I'm very happy about. And I went up to see him one day, and he said, "What's up?" And I said, "I want to design, a stunt plane, and could use your advice." And he said, "First of all, if you're not going to make two, I'm not going to help you." And that was a lesson. And he said, "I will show you, but you're going to build it, and we can design it together." We're doing that with Bob. That together becomes like 95.5, with Bob having the 95, and I have to yield to that. I think my last plane was an American Junior wind-up throw plane. So I wanted to make it look a little more realistic than a typical stunner, but maintain the moments. And I agreed with Bob that for this, I'd go electric. So the plane is it's getting close to a final sanding, and I'll see if I can show it to you. It's about 660 squares. It's electric powered. The wing is covered. It's a triple cord wing. I covered it with 16th inch contest grade balsa. It has a unique system in it as far as bell crank, and I'll show that to you on the second wing. It's a pretty big airplane. It has a canopy that I didn't bring up, but if you can see it, let me see if I can get it over here.
Oh, nice.
See
Ooh,
that?
I like those cheeks.
Well, that's the thing that Bob and I argued on. And I said, "Look, I want to do it for two reasons. I think it has a nice look, and it's a great way to cool the motor and the ESC. So they're functional. I have some dams in there to force the air into the battery compartment."
Nice.
So I'll show you what the battery tray looks like. I have it out, and it looks real straight. I'm kind of excited to finish it. This is the underside. I'm going to use automotive paint on it, try to keep it as light as I can.
Very nice.
And I try to keep the wheel pants light. I'll show you that. So that's kind of what it looks like, kind of a typical stunner, maybe with a shoestring kind of front and a magnetic latch here. So that's the airplane, but I want to
Hang on, Mark. I have a question. So
Yeah.
where is the canopy going to be placed, and what kind of canopy is it?
I don't know if you can see it, but you see the little depression,
Oh, okay, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
the pilot goes. And it's interesting, I haven't realized this before, but moving the canopy 1 or 2 inches absolutely changes the profile of the airplane. It's amazing. So it seems like the more back I get, it looks a little more like a jet. So I'm not exactly sure where I want to put that. I try to make my own canopy using Joe Adamusco's technique with heat guns and soda bottles. But I couldn't get it to be long enough because I want this one to be about 10 inches long. So that's where it's going to be. It'll have a pilot. The lead outs are a Bob Hunt system. It has these little openings with Delrin bushings that go in there. But I think what you may find the most interest is the bell crank. And I can show you part of it.
All right.
This was designed by Bob and built by Joe Daly. Now, this is the same wing, except this one obviously is in carbon fiber. Okay, that's what I used to cover it.
All right.
But if you look up here, I hope you can
Okay.
see the bell crank.
I can. Yeah, I've heard of this. I've never seen one in a plane,
Yeah,
but I've heard of it.
if you look at it this way, basically, if you look at the bottom where the bell crank would be inside the airplane, the rod that goes through that is welded to the bell crank. Okay, so that gets captured on top of what looks like a steering gear from an old RC plane, but it's metal. It was made of metal. The shaft is strong. It has a rolled pin that goes through it, and then some JB weld on it. And the theory behind this is the rod, the control rod to the, let's see if I can get a view of it. The rod to the flap horn is basically going to be level with the bell crank.
Right.
Okay, so that in theory should take out any differential in terms of the bell crank movement and having a push rod that is not level to the bell crank. I don't know. I don't know in practice if that'll work. Joe said he's had very good results with it. One thing I really like about it is you don't have to disturb the wing sheeting by cutting a slot. So I think it'll give you a stronger, top surface where it would normally fit into the fuselage, whether it be on top and bottom, because there's nothing that sticks out except for the rod and a plywood shelf on the top. You can see it, and then there's one on the bottom. Okay, so it's an interesting way, and as soon as I have the airplane finished, I'm going to have someone in the open expert category fly it for me. I can fly it, but I want them to, feel the difference and see what they think about what happens to the flight of the airplane with this kind of a setup. So maybe it's been tried before. I don't know. It probably has. But I had the hardware, and this is installed in the second wing. This is exactly the same as the other one that Bob and I designed. So I just wanted to show you that. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Very nice. You give a comment, Howard?
Where do the lead outs go?
Lead outs are standard. They go to the bell crank. Okay, so, it doesn't change anything. There we go. I don't know if I didn't cut them all the way open, but it's a standard, it's a standard 4-inch bell crank.
Oh, you've got another bell crank inside.
Yeah, there's a bell crank right below it.
Okay.
Okay. And this is probably about 90 degrees to the bell crank in terms of the top view. So to me, it's very clean. Joe said it's been working very well for him. I can't tell you if he's using it in his newest airplanes, and if he's not, I'm gonna have to ask him why.
Mm-hmm.
But it's strong. It's very easy to install.
Mark,
good.
can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So I understand what you're doing. You're taking the funny angle that the push rod tends to go to the flap horn with. You're negating that.
Right.
So but my question is, a bell crank mounted in a foam wing like that has a load bearing point at two ends, right? At the wing skin.
Right.
So could you describe how you're reacting that load into the airplane?
Yeah, what I did, I don't exactly remember what Joe did. I can't remember if it came with the bell crank or not, but there are two bearings, one on the top and one on the bottom, with shoulders on them. Okay, to distribute the load and to still have that whole mechanism turn smoothly.
A bushing or a ball needle bearing?
Well, I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe a bearing. Okay, it's from looking at it from the front, it's T-shaped. Okay, with the top fitting on the top of the wing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rod going through the middle of it. Okay, so it's not the plywood that's giving that it's riding on. It's on bushings on both sides.
Okay, I think I understand. And the shaft is anti-rotated to the central bell crank itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was worth a
That's
try.
clever.
I'm sorry?
That's clever. You don't have to monkey around with Howard's software.
Well,
I wouldn't say that.
you would.
Howard's a lot smarter than I am.
It would if you wanted to know what it does.
Well, I do, but there's still, the airplane's going to be far ahead of the pilot until I spend more time flying and less time trying to run organizations.
Well, do you want the software so you can see what it does?
I'd love it.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank both of you. So again, I'm not the expert, but I trusted Bob and Joe with the concept. There are things about it I really like. Of course, maybe 200 flights later, we'll know more about it. But I thought I'd share it because it's a little bit different.
That's very clever. And you could put a hatch, you could have access to that exposed
could.
part of the belt crank.
Good point. You could.
There's a fellow from Australia that did something very similar to that. But he had that arm on the bottom of the wing so that he could have a hatch underneath. And then he made the arm go straight across and slotted it so he could adjust the throw. And he ran one to the flap and the other back to the elevator. And he could adjust the amount of flap to the elevator quite easily. I've always wanted to try that. I just haven't done it yet. But
Yeah. There is, thanks for sharing that. And there was something important I forgot. When I got these two assemblies from Bob, they come with what they call tuned flap and elevator horns. So I'm guessing what that means is that it keeps everything online, everything perpendicular. So you're not jeopardizing the advantage by having a horn that doesn't work. So the horn is really a little bit taller, okay, than I think a standard horn might be because of where this comes out. But it's interesting. I'll keep you guys informed of what's going on, and then if you try, you know a lot more about this than I do. But it intrigued me, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And Bob called the airplane the Marksman. I guess,
Nice. I like that name.
yeah. So hopefully you may see it at next year's Nats.
pretty cool.
And so that's what I got. I didn't want you to think all I do is administrative work.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bravo.
you could put a sensor on it to sense bell crank motion, which I've been wanting to do directly, but it's got a live shaft sticking out. You can put a sensor.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, tonight I am.
Oh, good, good.
I'm glad I brought it up here.
Yeah. So am I. Thank you so much.
Last couple of things. This is the battery tray. It's very light. It's for a Thunder Power 6-cell, 2800 or 27, whatever that pack is. It's kind of a Bob Hunt design. This tab goes to the former under the canopy in that area, and this gets locked in behind the motor. It's light, and probably just a loop of tie wrap around it will be plenty. And these, trying to keep the weight down, not definitely as nice as the last wheel pants I saw, but I made a set of these
Okay.
just to keep the weight down.
Right. Good idea.
And if I fly off hard surfaces and grass, it gives me the option of changing this out with different legs. So that's just, I think 16th ply with carbon fiber veil on it.
Very nice.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, you
bet. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hey, John, there's a question in the chat. The person, I think it's Japanese or Chinese, I use the translator to decipher what it's saying. But the question is the Pathfinder Nostalgia 30 legal?
No. Pathfinder was designed in the very early 90s. It may be or was very close to being nostalgia legal. So, but I don't think it quite is. I think it was first designed 1991 or 2.
Well, thank you. Now, can you say that in Chinese and then say it in Japanese?
That would make it nostalgia legal.
Would it make it nostalgia legal now?
Well, it's a 30-year
Yes,
moving,
2022, yeah.
30-year moving deadline.
Yeah. So it would be,
It'd be close.
like I say, if it's 93, I've got this somewhere, but if it's 93, then it'd be next year. It was 92. And I'm trying to remember when Pete Peterson built the first one. And that was sometime before the drawing was made. So the key would be to find out from Pete what year he built his first Pathfinder.
I thought we had established it was legit.
Did we?
Yeah, it seemed to recall. I'm back in the forum here. I thought there was a post in the NOS 30 forum that said it was good. So I'll look for that and see if I can find it. So
Well, it's so close, you know, by the time any contest, well, we're talking to Japan, so, but here in the States, by the next VSC.
okay, here we go. In the post in the Nostalgia 30 forum, Gordon Delaney posted the first Pathfinder was built in 1988. Then changes were made for the next 4 years. Hopefully this helps.
Oh, okay.
So
That was-
1988 in 4 years is still 1992. And so that looks, well, that's the designer saying it's legit. So I don't
Yeah.
know what else we could do for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, he had his, he had the fuselage, he had like he had, he called them his chicken series. He crashed an airplane, usually the wing survived. And so he mated the wing to his, it wasn't called a Pathfinder then, it was called a chicken. And so he had the noble chicken for a nobler wing. He had a, what was it, Southwick's design, Skylark. The Skylark chicken, various chickens like that during that 6-year period of time. But the first Pathfinder in its iteration with the wing that it has, everything of the modern that iteration would have been 92 or 3. I think 92.
that issue came up at Brodak this year. I got a call. Will and I talked about it, looked up the information the best we could find, and we allowed it.
I think you're probably right doing that.
Yeah, we thought it was close enough that we should allow it and have more participation.
That's a good call.
So I got an answer from the person. It's not Japanese or Chinese, it's Korean. So if you guys can reiterate that in Korean, it'd be really helpful.
Well, Charles, you're the moderator. You should be able to do that.
Oh,
Gotta speak in Korean there, Charles.
Where's
Might
John
help your
Paris when
voice.
we need John Paris?
yes, John Paris. But I think they actually, the person said thank you. So I guess they understand. But for
Mhm.
some reason, all their texting or the chat
Well,
is
they
all
pro-
Korean.
They probably speak much better English than we do Korean.
Maybe.
Amen, brother.
I have some other comments I'm going to try to catch up with as long as my voice can hold out. George Bernard, he said, God bless all. So thank you very much, George Bernard. And Dennis Adamison says, like delivered. And Edward Carlisle says, like delivered. Thank you, Edward. And Jack Snavely, he was the first one in, and he said, hello, all around the world. And so thank you very much, Jack. I'll try to keep up with the chat box as best I can. So
If I can just take one more minute, I just wanted to share something.
takes a
with
lot
you.
more than 1 minute. Go ahead.
Well, it has nothing to do with, not directly what we're talking about, but I sent an email to Dave Tribble and to Bob McDonald, telling them that there's a chance I won't be at the Nats. And the reason for that is I've spent a good portion of this week trying to figure out where a blockage is in my blood system. I was in a hospital and ambulance and wards here and there. And I had a stress test this morning. So I'm going to see my cardiologist, who I've never had before, on Tuesday, and he'll tell me if I'm a go or no go.
Okay.
And I'm going to plead with him. So if you don't see me there, it's not for lack of interest. They're probably just shoving something up a vein or an artery. But apparently it's not my heart. So people have said I don't have a heart, and apparently they're right. But I just wanted you guys to know that.
Well, good luck with that.
God bless you and that,
Bless you.
and your doctor.
We'll be good. We'll be fine.
Yeah, you absolutely take care of that first, Mark. We will
Absolutely.
find a way to soldier on without you.
Yeah. I'd be much more emphatic if my voice wasn't hurting, Mark. But my thoughts and prayers with you.
I'm very optimistic.
Good. Good.
Hey, I don't want to take any of Jim Hoffman's thunder,
Uh-oh.
but
Lunar, I bet.
I've got wheel pants
Oh, wow.
and sort of same idea. Let's see. Anyway, there's the pair. This is off.
Ah,
This is off of Chisler number 5.
Mm.
And let's see if we can, yeah. They're split in the middle. And there's a little number 2 screws, just like Jim had, with blind nuts on the inside. They split apart. And from an earlier Chisler, this is what happens. I mean, they come apart and there's,
I
Nice.
like that wheel too.
that's very nice.
and what I did with this, this face on both sides, this is 64th inch plywood.
All right.
And that allows me then to get this really thin, sharp trailing edge back here. And this is a
Right.
little bit different wheel pant that kind of matches the shape of the fuselage of the Chisler, I think. Oh, here, let me.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Are those Hyperion wheels or are those Dubro wheels? What kind of wheels are
These are Dave Brown wheels, I think, on here. And then those weigh more than I wanted. And so I've got these things for normal flying.
Yeah.
And these
Mhm.
wheels I got from some outfit in China, and I can't find any more of them. They're light.
Mm.
It's got a super good bearing, and I really like them.
Keith, I think Max Products still has those wheels.
Well, I've looked, and with this kind of a aluminum hub on it,
Yes, yes.
well, I'd sure like to find some more.
I'll see if I can find those for you.
Okay, I think I've got Max Products in my address book, so
Yeah.
I'll look.
Okay.
And
I've had good success with Max.
yeah, and these have a great bushing,
They do.
and they're light, and I like the looks of them.
Yeah.
And rounded off the corners here a little bit. They were square, I think, to begin with. And then
Nice.
these are just plug-in types that you fit in the landing gear blocks by Bob Hunt's scheme. And they go in, well, let's see. Let's do this here. Get this up where we can see it.
Oops.
Yeah, that's why I get out.
Here we go.
Thanks, because I like the start of them after my first 4 zones.
Yeah, there we go. And
Yep.
there's just a plate that holds this thing in. And
Yeah.
the block is made out of light ply, 8-inch light ply with a groove on either side of it to hold the thing in place. Now aluminum plate goes bolts on, and it makes a really
Nice.
easy way to fix this thing.
Nice. Very nice.
It is.
Very workmanlike. I like how you recess that block the way you did it. I've never seen like that. I mostly have seen rectangular shaped ones, but nothing like that before. That's really neat.
It
Keith.
is.
You should see his Martin Baker.
And
Thank you very much.
This is when Bob Whiteley and I were flying. He's flying his.
Oh, I get it. Mako Master. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Flying this thing, and we had a lot of fun flying with each other. That's supposed to look like a dead shark.
Yeah.
Like that with a big bite out of its belly.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like that. I'm sure Bob got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah. Well, he didn't appreciate it very much. He kept, he gets kind of grumpy sometimes. But anyway, that was, like I say, Chisler number 5. It doesn't say that this is number 5. The other wing says number 5 on it.
Nice. That's wow. I'm just blown away. Thank you, Keith.
I remember judging you and Fancher both flying Chislers that first year you brought them out, and I was totally awed by the effect of a square turn that fuselage or that combination presented. It looked like it stopped, turned, and pulled out of it. It was very abrupt.
Yeah, we talked about that. Pancho and I talked, and then Whiteley and I talked about it, and we couldn't figure out, was it really turning better or just give the appearances turning better? Either way, it looked better. Squares looked better.
It did that.
And I can remember I saw Dick Mathis's first Chisler when he had it at the, I think it was the 66 Nats.
Yes.
That's when,
That was
that was when Topinski won. And
that was the one that he had finished with colored paper.
yeah, he was covered with jet tissue and clear dope. And I think
Wow.
it'd be like 38, 39 ounces or something like that. Fox 35.
Wow.
He was second to Bart that year by a few points. And I think the difference was appearance points. And
Well, I
then,
think he was a pretty decent designer, Keith. I'm sure you do as well.
well, everything he designed, free flight stuff, his control line stuff, it all worked.
Well, you flew that Excalibur I had, so you know how that flew.
Yeah. They were, and his free flight stuff, I built a couple of his half-A free flights, and they flew better than any Starduster that I've seen. And I had a couple Stardusters, so good stuff.
Very good. Hey, John Parrish, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And let me next say hi to my friend Carl. Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in. I know you're muted. That's fine. Your mic sometimes gives us a little bit of trouble.
John is the one who understands Korean. He could actually, I believe, translate all your comments there for you. So,
Yes, next time if the person has any more questions, I have a person in the chat box, John, who's writing or typing in Korean. So I'm using the translator in Google to understand what the person's saying to me. But I gather they do understand us in English, but for some reason they're not typing in English.
Hey, John, I think he said that he understands Howard's scoring system for the Nats.
I'm trying not to laugh too much, Mark.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So
Don't
who
be
were you yelling at, Charles?
yelling at.
You get your voice all messed up.
Oh, I think my wife made me sick. Really, this time made me sick.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you went in to buy some gas or something and lost it.
No. And I hardly ever get under the weather. If you notice, you've seen me for years. I'm hardly ever under the weather. And so
That's true.
I did go flying today, but mostly did teaching. I have a gentleman named Keith Bozell, and it's so wonderful to have someone who is very enthusiastic, very appreciative, and Carl is also all that too. Carl is also very appreciative, enthusiastic as well. But there's another guy named Keith Bozell that I was flying with today, and so I was mostly helping him. And he brought out his super clown, and it was flying a little bit too fast. He had an 8 by 5.5 APC prop. So then we put a wooden 9.4 prop and it slowed it down. And there was something else. We just worked out some things, and at the end of the day, after 3 flights, the plane was easier for him to fly. And I gave him some more suggestions, some more homework to do, and we discussed that. I'm not going to share with you what we discussed, but it's just neat, you know. And he's just so appreciative and progressing. He had a really good day, so I had a really good day. You know, I didn't fly my SV11 as much as I'd like to, but I wouldn't want to miss helping someone else, as I've been helped a lot myself. So John Paris, what have you been up to? I'm glad you came in. Have you been up to anything particular?
I was just spoofing you guys a little earlier with the Korean language stuff. Just having some fun.
All right, cool.
No, actually, I did have the question was legitimate. I had read in the article that the Pathfinder was N30 legal, and I was wondering if there was a difference between the Pathfinder and the profile Pathfinder. I had sent John a message earlier via Stunthangar, but he hadn't responded as of yet, so I thought I would ask.
Oh, okay. Well, the Pathfinder profile was the first one. That was the first published one.
Okay.
It had a longer wing and it had a full I-beam wing.
Mhm.
That's the one that was first built by P. Peterson. So that'd be the earliest Pathfinder with the current wing type on it. The Pathfinder existed go ahead, Howard.
The yellow one?
No, this was the one that was in the article in Flying Models. It had a Ken Smith. Remember him? He made Smith tanks. He did a run of 200 kits. It was called the Pathfinder Pro File, PRO-file. And that was the first published one. And then we did the Mark II because Gordon wanted to go to a bit smaller airframe, not air, the fuselage is the same, but the wing is smaller on the Mark II. And it has we had a problem with the faux I-beam in that it wasn't strong enough. You could collapse the wing. It would collapse on you. This plane right back here is a full body one, and it has that profile, not the profile, the full wing on it, and it does this now when it goes into hard stress maneuvers. And so I don't fly anymore because I'm afraid it'll collapse the wing. So Gordon wanted to go to the Mark II wing. He had me shorten it, and he had me put leading edge sheeting on it, and stiffen it up a bit, and married that to the original profile. And so those were number one and number two. That I don't think the profile or the Mark II was ever actually published. It may have been, but no, I don't think so. So let's see. This one was the first full body, and it came about right after the Pathfinder profile, the longer winged full I-beamer. That's why it has a full I-beam wing in it, but it has the tapered wing instead of the barn door wing. And I think sometime next year, it would be nostalgia legal. But if I was to build with that wing, I'd stiffen it up some. And because the wing is removable on this airplane, I think if I'm going to build another one, but I'll make the wing removable, and I'll probably go with a sheeted leading edge and all of that, because it'd be a shame to have it fold doing a high G maneuver. So anyway, that's my recollections of what it's like. Gordon's might be a little different. They usually are. But then after that, just as a historical value, after that came the twin, the first twin, the one that Howard has, and that uses the Mark II wing, fuselage, everything on there. You could start off with a Brodak kit and add the engine pods, and you'd have a Mark the Pathfinder twin, because it's the same airplane, their same wing.
Cool.
So okay, enough on that. Any more questions there, John?
No, I'm all set now. I have an ARF profile Pathfinder, and in Cleveland they have ARF profile and N30, and that sounds like a perfect airplane to fly in all three. I just wanted to make sure it was valid for the N30 portion.
Yeah, I think it is. Keith held up something. I don't know if you got to see it. What'd you hold up there? It looked like the article.
Let me get to you 1 second. Make it big. All right, there you're big, Keith.
Okay, that's the first one. Okay, and one of them was mine and one of them was Gordon's. I think this one was mine. Not sure. Anyway, it has a longer wing with more area, and if you were to build it based on that, I would figure out a way to put a cap strip on the I-beam, some way to stiffen it up a little bit more. That'd be the important thing. But it has, what does it say for the square footage on there, Keith?
Looking. I don't think.
I have a question for you, John, while you're looking, Keith. What engines do you highly recommend for the profile, John Miller?
Well, originally we flew them with the FP40s, slightly detuned. Just take the head and mill it so that it's about, mill it to where the what do you call them, the flats, where you've got that domed head, and you've got the flats, to where they're about an 1/8 of an inch or a little bit more, 3/16 of an inch. But that, I would say, the next one I build, you got it, Keith?
No, the plans don't say, I don't see it in the article.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it was pushing like 680, I think, but I'm not sure.
What's the date of that article?
What's that?
What's the date on that article?
The date, March 1995.
Thank you.
I can tell you that the plane was built several years before that.
Right.
What magazine is that, Keith? Is that Flying
That's
Models?
Flying Models, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I purchased that article from Flying Models. I have it somewhere.
But
I was going to use a Stalker 51 on the next one I built. But I'm going to have the wing from this one in it, the tapered wing in it.
I have mine set up for a double star 50 or an LA 46. I can put either in.
Either one of them would be fine. They fly good on an LA 46.
Mhm.
And the double star 50, it'd be great. I think you'd have a 3-event airplane, yeah.
Hey, John?
Yeah.
That's the wing, John Paris, that's the wing that I put the tip weight box in wrong 3 times. So if you need help, give me a call.
There's only 4 options. You got it in 3. I'm impressed.
I know.
It was fun working with Gordon as he went through the design process on there. We had a lot of conversations.
Yeah, on my current airplane, I got it in the jig and everything fit perfectly. And I wondered, why do I have the tip weight box on the top of the left wing?
Was the plane upside down?
No, the fuselage was right side up.
Oh,
The
It's
wing
upside down.
was upside down,
hmm.
I did that once.
but it fit really well.
That sounds really painful.
It was,
Yeah, but you only did it once. You're an amateur.
oh,
Yeah, but he can do it again, Mark.
Absolutely.
So, I
wasn't-
mean, all he has to do is, take it
I
apart, put it back together, so.
that plane that I originally put the engine on the wrong side by mistake. I had to carve it, put it on the other side.
Boy, it's good to hear that.
That all the time.
Even a top 5 guy makes mistakes like that. That's good to hear.
I have a comment from the chat box. This is from old control line pilot. That's Bob Whitley up in Canada. He says, "Happy Canada Day, everyone." And there's a cake and there's a thumbs up. So happy Canada Day. I didn't realize
Happy
that's what it
Canada
was.
Day right back.
And
Yeah.
Philip birthday,
And whose birthday?
Philip Granderson.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a shame. So he would have been how old today? Do you know?
74,
Wow.
I think.
Are you the last Jive comment team member?
I'm the lone jiver.
The lone Jive.
The lone
Okay.
jiver.
How time passes.
Yeah, I drive through the West on my white steed, handing out silver vortex.
All right. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Very.
You never fail to disappoint when it comes to your unique brand of humor.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely.
I got a question on all of you fellows there that have these older airplanes. What are you doing to keep your wings from cracking and on your coverings?
We crack.
Crash them, yeah.
That's one way out.
Well, that one he just showed there, brought down from the ceiling there. That's an older plane, but see the coverings beautiful.
Well, that airplane was built about 10 or 15 years ago. I mean, it's an older design, but the airframe is only 10 or 15 years
Oh,
old.
10, okay.
Probably spent a lot of time indoors too, right?
Yes, yeah, not a lot of UV on it. But I find balsa wood and dope airplanes last pretty well. I have an airplane that's 30 plus years old and it's an 18, 19 pointer.
Wow.
It hasn't seen a lot of UV. It flew for a couple years and then got retired. And it lives indoors, not in the garage. And it looks new.
Is
Mine's
that
all
your first upstart?
Say again?
Was that your first upstart?
No, it's a windswept. It's a big 60 size foam wing stunner. Really, it was Jim Armour's numbers. I wrapped my own, shape around it, but it was it's an epic, really.
Jim, was that dope you used?
Yeah. Oh,
I'd always heard, I don't know if is it true that dope is always settling, that it never quite ends its drying process?
well, I wouldn't say drying, but you do look at the sheeted surfaces and I wouldn't call it crazing, but you can see the finish settling into the wood grain.
Okay.
But it's not crazing, but you can see that phenomenon.
Okay.
Does that rejuvenator help with that?
I've never messed with it. I'm scared to mess with that.
Yeah.
I see no reason to do anything. It's a wall hanger. No.
One thing I found is that if you cover your balsa wood with that carbon veil, 2/10 ounce veil, that stuff does not settle into the wood like silk or silk span does.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
vote for the carbon veil. And also it gives it more of an eggshell quality
Yeah.
to the surface than what silk or silk span does. Or polyspan for that matter.
Yeah, I find it very easy to apply.
Yeah,
It is easy to apply. It's difficult to fill.
Yes.
But second Keith's comment. The apparent surface hardness is noticeable.
Mhm.
and it goes around compound curves beautifully.
It does.
You just have to be careful when you're doping it. You don't pull too hard because it will tear.
It will.
And it weighs. I mean, you try to weigh it, you can't measure it. So I'm not hesitant to put a double layer on the nose, things like that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But it is hard to fill. You got to put probably 5 coats of dope before you even take sandpaper near it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried it and it seemed to work pretty well. What Randy Smith sells, which is some kind of, I forget what kind of powder. I can go downstairs and
That
get.
the zinc stearate?
Zinc stearate.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not light, but of course you sand a lot off. But that seems to work pretty well on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a standard.
Yeah. Zinc
Yeah.
stearate is to talcum powder or baby powder like baby powder is to sand. That's
Gotcha.
that's the end of the spectrum.
What's the word or thought on the old process of using the hard resin, the polyurethane resin, on a bare wood and working it into the wood and then putting another coat and then sand it all smooth and then go to paint. Anybody done that?
Well, on the nose of the airplane, everything around where the fuel tank and engine is, I put finishing resin on the bare wood and then sand that down to where it takes all the fuzz off and then go ahead with the carbon veil. That's it.
I do something similar. I put finishing resin on all the balsa sheeted surfaces. And then I card it off. And if you do a little weight analysis, you measure the weights, it's negligible. But then your next couple coats of dope, which is really the first coats of dope, don't soak into the wood near as much.
Yep.
It's a net weight savings. I think.
And what finishing resin do you use? Z-epoxy?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I put a lot of times I'll put a coat of nitrate over that just as because it's an epoxy.
Does the nitrate adhere to the epoxy better?
Yes.
Okay.
So says urban legend. But I do it.
Now regarding Gary Sinclair's question about the cracking and that kind of stuff, I know Sparky, I don't remember the formulation, but he adds like a drop of castor oil to a gallon of dope, something similar to that. Anybody experiment with that?
I've heard of it as a plasticizer. I don't do it, but I've heard of it. It makes the dope softer.
I've heard of it as well. It's been the same thing. But I've
Yeah, I
never
tried
done
it once. I had a base coat on an airplane. It took something like 45 days to dry.
Wow.
I didn't do it anymore.
Oh, talking about the nitrate dope, I use the nitrate dope to put on the carbon veil rather than regular dope. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That
Keith, do you go like 50-50 with thinner on that?
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go like 80-20, 80
Yeah.
thinner.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
if it needs more dope to get the stuff to stick down, you just brush on more dope.
Yep.
I recently did a old time airplane with nitrate base, and then I went butyrate over top of it, and it got kind of like an alligator skin to it. Used nitrate thinner with the nitrate dope, butyrate thinner with the butyrate dope. Was there something I did incorrectly there?
I do that all
Those
the
things.
time. I do
You
that.
did the right thing. Are you describing orange peel?
No. It was much more serious than orange peel. I call it more like alligator skin.
I don't have an answer.
Okay.
That's what I do.
But I'm religious about using the correct thinner with the dope. I do not do
No.
experiments. My time is way too valuable
Yeah.
to do that.
Right. Are you using Brodak products or SIG products?
I used to use SIG and then I transitioned to Brodak. And then about 7 years ago, I transitioned to Randolph's.
Randolph? Okay.
Randall.
All right. Well, if I get brave again, maybe I'll try on something else.
But I had good success with all those products, but I did never mix products.
Okay. Yeah, it was all Brodak product that I used. And like I said, I used nitrate thinner with the nitrate dope. And I thought I had done everything correctly, but when I put the butyrate over top of it, boy, it just got ugly.
Hmm.
All right. Thanks.
But did you use any kind of a filler after the nitrate dope, or did you just go to color?
I stayed clear. There's no color on this airplane at all. All I did was sand it. I tried to avoid any type of fillers at all. I did cover with silk span, but outside of that, nothing else on the airplane.
Well, on mine, on the balsa surfaces, it's the carbon veil with nitrate dope.
Log back in with the Zoom client.
And then I
That's
use,
what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. I have, there's something with my computer where I have.
I muted John. You guys can continue. Go ahead.
yeah, use the, over the balsa wood, it's the nitrate with the carbon veil. And then I use the Brodak balsa filler coat to go ahead and fill in all the little dents and so forth. And that brushes on, and then it's almost all sanded off.
Mhm.
And then coat of the blocking color, like polar gray or something like a polar gray. And it's all Brodak.
Okay.
Hey, John, is it possible you used a brush that had been in something else?
It's possible, but I mean, I would have expected maybe a localized area of issue. I had issue everywhere I did this with.
Okay.
So it's possible. Maybe I'll be a little more disciplined next time around.
Yeah.
But this was an old time airplane, so no appearance points. I'm not too concerned about it. It should be relatively fuel proof. We'll just go from there.
I did learn something about finishing from a local expert, Lou Woolgast, a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
These degreasers that you put on before you paint, before every coat, sometimes it's a prep salt product.
Yep.
And you put it on and it evaporates off very quickly. He feels, and he did this for a living, you got to give it at least 20 minutes to outgas. I mean, you put it on and it looks good in about 2 minutes.
Right.
But he says wait 20. So
Hmm.
I follow that guidance.
Let me interrupt for a second, gentlemen. I just want to welcome Mark Gerber. Thank you so much for coming in. Last time I saw you was at last year's Las Vegas Stunt Challenge. Good
That's
to see you
right.
again.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Who are all these guys anyway?
Oh, we have Jim Hoffman, and we have John Paris. We have
No, I know who almost all of them are. So
Oh, okay.
I'm just joking here.
I didn't know.
Looks like Keith's holding it.
And I'm Charles Carter, by the way. Just in case you didn't know that.
No, most of my airplanes, it was made back, but 61 or 62. So I suppose that's why they're cracking.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Keith, what are you holding, Keith?
This is Chisler number 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, Keith. Let me make you big here. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's got
All right.
the gray blocking coat and the first trim color of red. That'll all be masked off and the rest of it gets painted white. So with black pinstripes.
Oh, very nice.
Mhm.
Like the masking has started on the bottom a little bit, but there's front end.
Wow, very nice.
And after the white and red and black goes on, it'll end up sort of like this. I'm using the same paint scheme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Keith, is that silk span?
No, this is polyspan on this.
Polyspan. Okay, thank you.
And I'm not going to use, I don't like it.
Hmm.
It's hard to fill and over the open surfaces, I don't like it. And these are all painted, by the way. That's a trick.
Boy, that's
Those are
nice.
what? Those are what, Keith? I didn't quite get that.
This is all painted on the numbers.
Oh, wow, very nice. Wow. There's lots of back masking.
Yeah.
So Keith, if you don't like polyspan and the availability of good silk span isn't that good anymore, what are you going to use?
I've got a box full of good silk span.
Do you? Okay.
Where is that box, Keith?
Yeah.
You'll
Very,
never,
very
you'll never
good.
find it. Yeah.
Keith, what don't you like about polyspan?
I don't like the way it fills or what it takes to fill over the open areas. I don't like it. And I don't like the results. So
Let me interrupt again, you guys. I have a comment or a thought to Mark Wise. You still here, Mark? All right, this is from John Lytle. He says, Mark, myself and other buddies have had the same installing a stent. Was simple and the best thing I've ever done. Good luck.
Oh, okay, thanks.
And
So
then,
maybe I can start control line stent.
yeah,
I can't find the pattern. Thank you, John.
hey, we ought to talk Mark into showing us his Bearcat. Can
Mark Gerber or Mark Wise?
Mark,
No, it must be Mark Gerber.
He's got a Bearcat underway and it's going to be fabulous.
For
Yeah.
change.
Yep. Are you up for that,
I don't know
Mark?
if I can get it and bring it up here. Excuse me for a few minutes.
Yeah, yeah. While he's doing that, I have a comment from Jeff Riley. He says, hi, friends. Like pressed. Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate it. He says, I'm hearing paint questions. And this is, I guess, for you, John Paris. He says, alligator skin is usually the result of very high humidity, especially over nitrate dope. And you don't know Jeff Riley, but he's a professional painter.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I've seen him here on the forum a number of times. It could very well be. I didn't get blushing on the butyrate initially, but yeah, when I was painting earlier this year, it may have been questionable humidity.
Very cool. Well, we're all caught up in the chat.
The nitrate just prone to carry moisture. And you have to burn it off before you start painting. Is that where it comes from? I guess maybe if Jeff heard that, maybe he can comment back.
And I guess the follow-on question would be, could you use retarder in the nitrate as well to help reduce that out if I have high humidity as, paint conditions?
Jeff Riley, he's responding. He's not pro, just lucky. Well, I thought you was a professional, so maybe I misspoke, Jeff. I know you've done a lot of paint jobs, so I thought you was a professional. I believe you painted motorcycles and all kinds of stuff, cars and other things. I believe that's what you've told me. So, but if you made money, you are a professional. That's what, people who don't get paid That's just a hobby. And those who make
Yes.
money, you're professional. So maybe you are professional. Montana farmer, he says, hey guys, just getting over COVID. So moving slow, still hope you're all are doing well. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Montana farmer. It's been a long time since I've seen you in the chat box. So good to see you again. Thank you, Montana. I haven't seen Minnesota Mike in a while either. There's some other people I haven't seen. If you're listening, just come on in and chime in.
A question, Charles.
Yes, sir.
Gordon Delaney just called me. He's trying to get in. I told him to give you a call. Did he call you yet?
No, but you know what? I can get him in. Let me I have a secret
Okay.
way into here, so I'll let him know how to get in here
Okay.
on the down low. Only people I know. If I don't know you, I'm not going to do this. But if I know you, I'll do this. So just bear with me, and I'll get him in here. Let's see here.
Mark Lipinski's there with him, so.
Oh, great, great.
If any of you guys are Pampa members, did you get the newest newsletter?
Yes. Keith?
Yes, thank you very much. I don't know where it's at.
Yes, it arrived.
Did it look okay?
It looked good.
Good.
It's not going to be like my mall aviation news, which typically is to mix epoxy.
Whoa.
There's Mark.
Let me make you big, Mark. Pardon me 1 second. Mark, there you are, Mark. You are big.
Ah,
Hey,
Very
cousin.
nice.
Excellent.
You're muted.
That looks nice, Mark.
Are you muted, Mark? Is he muted? I'm kind of multitasking, so help me out, gentlemen.
He's not muted, but I can't hear him.
I don't see him as muted.
Yeah, see his lips moving.
We're not hearing you, Mark.
Maybe turn off your mic. I mean, mute it and then unmute it. Sometimes you got to switch it on and off, and that does it. It's almost like rebooting. I know you don't want to damage your plane, and you got to do this.
Yeah, really.
Pain in the butt.
Needs another hand.
Anyway, if he can't talk, I'll tell you that's a Raby Bearcat.
That is a Ravy?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what question I was going to ask him.
and
So,
I think he put the Raby, well, the controllable Raby rudder thing on the back.
Oh, cool.
At least he's got the drawings. I gave him the drawings for it. Mark, can you hear me? Shake your head, yes or no.
Let's try it like this. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. I can hear you guys fine, but I guess you can't hear me, so.
Yeah.
you guys got to know Mark's my cousin.
Oh, really? Wow, very cool.
Way back.
Right.
My grandmother was a Gerber, so.
So here's the
Wow, that looks great, Mark.
way to start finishing.
Now, did you build that the Al Rabe way, or you did it differently?
Well, it's a Raby Bearcat 3 with some Keith Trossel input. I built the wing on the lost foam process
Oh, nice.
with Bob Hunt's jig at Keith's recommendation.
Excuse me.
And
sorry.
the flap hinges and the elevator hinges and the rudder hinges are all Keith's approach using the Robart pin hinges
Yep.
with a carved out, what do you call that, Keith?
Well, recessed trailing edge on the wing, concave
That's
trailing
concave.
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got the Keith Trossel mechanism for the rudder. To
Cam,
be able to control how the rudder acts
With the cam on it, yeah.
with a cam, yeah. Keith wrote an article in was that 2007 Stunt News, I think?
2008, I think, yeah.
Yeah, detailing the approach he uses.
Okay, Bearcat 3, I get, he built so darn many of them and everything like that. What vintage is that? What year did it show up at a nationals or?
Well, Raby has wordage on the plan saying that it's classic legal because he built it at the end of 1969.
So it's not the one he flew with the 69 Nats, it's.
No, the
It's after
69
that.
Nats one that he flew was the
Okay.
Bearcat 1. And then
Yeah,
the one that was published, he refers to as the Bearcat 2. And then he later, the one he had in 1970, that famous bounced landing that ended up Keith Trossel being first place.
Hold on. Yeah, that's right.
And
Mark, is that low power?
yeah, it will be.
What's the power?
I've got a Super Tiger 60 that's gone into it. There was a Tom Lay rework or cleanup,
Okay.
whatever you say he did to his engines.
is that, even in 1970, that was still the same size as the 1969 airplane, wasn't it? Or
Yes.
Keith, am I wrong?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same airplane.
Yeah. I know, well, he was constantly working on improving his, fuselage cross sections and construction methods.
He molded the fuselage for the Bearcat 3, whereas he planked or he carved the one for the Bearcat.
Yeah, they were heavy block or quarter-inch blocks or quarter-inch sheet blocks for his first Bearcats.
Yeah, as published, it had, I would call pretty much traditional structure, just, body sides and carved top and bottom and everything like that. But,
It took a lot of wood, yeah.
yeah,
But he did do one thing on the horizontal tail, is that he just did the molded sheet, wrap single piece of 16th inch wood for the top and bottom and leading edge.
Hmm.
You wrap that around, I think a quarter-inch or 3/8 inch sheet to form it. And so there's no leading edge in his tail surfaces. It's just the sheet wood wrapped around the ribs.
Oh,
Once you get it done, it's stiff and light, but it is light. It's a bear keeping it straight until you get it done. Same thing with the rudder.
Yeah, so I used the Pampa plans I got from Pampa Plan Service. I think it took about 6 months till they finally arrived, but I got them.
that was before me.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure it'll get much
And after
faster
me.
shortly here. And then I converted them to CAD. So I have CAD plans for this thing, and I had the ribs laser cut
Nice.
and all the fuselage formers and the jig for the fuselage assembly. Everything I could was laser cut, so it came out really, really accurate.
Looks
But
great.
between the laser cut ribs and the lost foam wing structure, the wing came out really straight. And
That 70 Nats that Raby was second place. I had met Raby year before, 2 years before. And I didn't even know he was at that 70 Nats. I was off chasing free flight airplanes with the Air Force team. I put in a flight early. Oh, that's another story. They drew rounds and I drew first to fly the first round that morning. And that flight held up all day. The wind came up right after my flight. Warwich flew right after I did. And the wind came up and his wings were just flopping around, waving up and down and all sorts of things. And everybody else was fighting that wind all day long. I had a break and I put in that first flight, got a score, and it held up all day. But like I say, I didn't even know Raby was there until I saw all the results. Oh, there's another story about the gnats. Don Jellick, some might recognize that name. He was a world champion team racer, F1C. And he was the event director for that stunt at that Nats. And he had the Navy judges do judging by error counting. Now, whether or not that had any difference in how they scored my flight or other flights, I have no idea. They had practiced the day before with the junior and senior stunt, so it wasn't a new thing. Well, for the Navy judges, judging is a new thing for them because they just drafted to do that for that week. So the Navy nationals were different than any other nationals because of the way where the judges came from, I think. They carried no biases, intended or not. So that's my dissertation on the 70 Nats.
Very good.
Anyhow, Mark, it looks like a heck of a project you got going there. How's it coming in for weight and everything like that? You on target, you think, for where you want it to be?
So far, so good. It's 48.1 ounces.
Okay, with the 60. Wow.
Yeah, and the tank and everything else in it, except for the tip weight.
Oh, what's the canopy you've got on that?
The one you pointed me to from Park Flyers.
Park Flyers, okay. And it's specifically for the Raby Bearcat, and I think it's a mold that Raby used.
Yeah, I mean, I had to cut it down somewhat, you know, it came out.
Yeah. Mark, are you going to put a pilot in there?
Well, I'm looking for one right now, to be honest.
Ask Keith.
Well, Keith pointed me to this guy over in England, and I contacted him, and he said he couldn't help me.
What,
So I was,
what were you asking for? Or he's not doing it anymore, or what?
no, I said I was looking for a pilot that was Korean War era with the Navy, you know, the helmet that and goggles. And he said he didn't have anything that fit that requirement.
Hmm.
And he didn't offer to make me anything, so.
We'll have to
Hello, Williams Brothers.
no, Mark, you and I have to talk next time we're at the field. We'll find something.
Yeah, I've got a Williams Brothers 1/8 scale pilot.
That'd be about right size.
He looks a little small to me. And I would like to get a Williams Brothers 1/6 scale and see how that looks. I'm afraid that may be a little big.
Let me see what I've got, and next time we go out the field, I'll try to bring out some stuff.
Okay, I just ordered another one from this other radio control place whose name escapes me right now, and that one looks like it's got a lot of promise. It's the right era with the right helmet and goggles, and I'm waiting on it to arrive in the mail, so I'll see what I get.
Okay.
Did you build the shock absorbing landing gear?
Not yet.
Callentine's had tremendous success on his Mustang with it.
Now, Keith told me it doesn't help him all that much, but
Yeah, Raby made a set of that landing gear for my Bearcat, and it bounced every landing. And without that landing gear, my regular
looking at the
landing,
plans and everything, I think Raby had the landing gear too far forward. And that'll cause bounces up, you know, every time. So I've moved it back a little bit, and I'm going to try it without it. The gear is removable. So if it bounces the way it is, I can make the shock gear and add it on there later. But I'm going to start with the plain wires.
We're gonna put it about 16 degrees.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You're gonna make it about 16 degrees where the rubber hits the ground.
From the
between
center of
there and-
gravity?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I used 15, but yeah, about that.
that's good. That's good. I've had it work clear up to 18 and 19 degrees, but you don't want to go much beyond that. What are you showing there, Dennis?
I am showing a Williams Brothers 1/6 scale and 1/8 scale. And it's awfully hard to show them off, but Mark, if you have any troubles whatsoever, we can certainly come to an agreement. If you need help finding a 1/8, let me know. I'll put a stamp on it and
Looks like
send it to you.
$4.99 right there.
Yeah. That from Joe's Hobby Center, I believe. And which already dates it as shall we say old. So let it go with that.
Well, hang on to that, Dennis. I'll see what I get in the mail and I'll talk with Keith. And
Yeah, but seriously, I got this thing, I don't have any immediate plans for using it. Everything I'm doing is actually, this is a little big for anything I'm doing right now or
is
have
that the
plans
military?
for, so.
Is that the military pilot?
It is the standard pilot. It has a leather helmet and it has goggles. It does not have the, has a movable opposable head, unlike the smaller
Oh.
Williams pilots. But yeah, it's a leather helmet, basically.
You guys will both be at the Nats here in a couple weeks. Could maybe make the handoff then.
You're gonna be there,
That's
Mark?
true, yeah.
All right, good. Yeah,
One
you
of our
could end up
judges.
paying for my trip then. Okay. No, seriously, that's not as big as it sounds. I only live 85 miles away, so. No, seriously, if you can use it, it is yours, my friend. Because I've seen your airplanes. I know you will make far better use of it than I could. So,
Well, it's just, I'll advise anybody who's thinking about making one is it's a lot of work.
yeah. Well, I'll just tell everybody that if it wasn't for me, you couldn't have finished the airplane. All right. So
Okay,
Uh-huh.
how's that? So
Pretty good.
I can put David Admison on the, right below the canopy.
no,
There goes my defensive building.
you don't have to go that far. But
Let me,
anyhow, seriously,
go
Mark, I'll Craig, there'll be something else for me to forget to bring, but we definitely got to make that connection there in Muncie. So
He's got that gear out.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about the Ravy landing gear. This is half of the set that he built for me for that Bearcat. And that's the way it works.
mhm.
And it's got little springs in there that I think it's like the spring for a ballpoint pen, retracting ballpoint pen. And that's all it is, because when this thing's sitting on the ground with the full weight of the airplane, they're fully collapsed. It sits on the ground, fully collapsed that way. But when Ravy does those landings, it's a sight to behold, because it comes down and you can see this gear just working like that, and the fuselage is just going to just like that.
Huh.
It's nice. He has a video of how these things were made. It's quite a process.
What you did, so you do it again. You gotta write it down.
Yeah.
Write it all. No, he's gotta show
When
me.
Ravy does those landings, it's a sight to behold, because
Okay,
comes
click
down,
me
you
out.
can see this
You wanna click
gear
out?
just working like
I
that,
want you to
and the
go back
fuselage just
and
going
show me what you did.
Show the whole deal. Okay.
Write it down. Would you be quiet for me now?
Say hi to the
There's a
peeps there.
video of how these things were
hang
made.
on a second. I got two conversations going on. What's going on here? Hang on.
Ah, look at there.
Hey, Gordon. All right. And Brent, thank you very much. You guys for coming in.
That must be Bart's arm. Let's see.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bart.
Hi,
Hey, Bart. Long time no see, Bart.
Video
Hang on a second. I got.
Put it back up.
Bart,
Hey, Brent, you might have an extra tab open. Can you close the extra tab?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What's that?
Brent, thank you very much.
What was the matter?
We had an extra window going, so it was no background noise. Okay, so what you do is you come to this.
Well, now I can't figure out how I had them on there.
All right. So,
What did you have that on?
The other one. I don't know before it just snapped on there.
Like that, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so once you're logged in here, so click that.
So how'd you get to where to log in?
so how you doing now, Gordon? How's your hand? How's your fingers?
Oh, well, it's healing, but it's sure taking a long time. It's been 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's like watching grass grow, right?
It's slowly growing back together.
Good, good. Well, as long as it keeps progressing, eventually we get there.
So may not be able to bend it time it heals. So we got Bart Kopinski here on my left and Brent on the right. We're gonna leave the meeting for a minute. He's gonna show me how he got in here.
All right, sounds good. Hey, Bart Kopinski, if you don't make it back, hi. Good to see you again. This is
Good to see you,
Charles.
Bart.
Long time no see.
So,
Yeah.
All right, so that happened. So, I have another question. This is an easy one from Montana farmer. Where or when is the Nats this year?
Mr. Edie?
Was that where or when? I'm sorry.
As when? When
When?
is the Nationals this year?
Depends on what you're flying, but generally the 17th to the 23rd of July.
Okay. And just for clarification, it's Muncie, Indiana.
Correct.
And Howard, he's saying, wow, we got 3 Walker Cup winners attending tonight. Thank you very much, Howard. So those 3 Walker Cup winners, who are they? All right, Dennis Adamson, Keith Trossel,
Bart.
and
Bart.
Bart Kopinski. When Bart comes back. Great. Fantastic.
And Bobby Hunt's been on here too, a couple times, so.
Yes.
Yeah. And Howard's buddy up there in the Northwest, he joins us occasionally too. So,
Oh, what's his name? Walker.
there you go.
yeah, I forget.
Okay.
Scott.
Thank you.
He's the guy that the trophy is named for, I think. But
Oh, very good.
it's
Mr.
got his name on
Walker.
it so many times. So.
So you can open the tailgate up.
I don't know, there's a story you could tell about that Walker Cup. Of course, Jim Walker commissioned the thing. And over the years, it kind of lost some of its parts. And where it was hardly a representation of its former self. And then when Raby won, that was what, 73 or 74, or 83 or 84.
73, I think, yeah.
He found the trophy maker, I think Dodge Trophies is the name, and they still had the specifications for that trophy.
Oh, wow.
He sent it to them and they totally restored it to its original self.
Wow.
And that's the way it stayed then for some time. And Raby made a box that it could be shipped in. And you have to have a truck almost to carry that. It is an awkward thing to handle. And then after the base of it, all the plaques around the base were filled up. And I think it's the guys on the West Coast, the Fancher and the Walker and those guys up there, they went ahead and put a newer, larger base on it for more nameplates. And so that's the way the trophy is now, is with a larger base. Yeah, but Raby is the one that took the initiative to have it totally restored.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking this one back.
In fact, I've got a picture, black and white, of what Raby made it into. Just a minute.
Hey, Howard.
Hi.
Gordy here.
Hi. I'm sorry to hear about your,
Oh, that's
Well, that's
look control.
what you get for taking your finger in a prop. Ooh, that's nice.
Anyway, that's the way the original cup was after Raby had it restored. And then since then, this base has a bigger base on the bottom of this, bigger diameter, and probably half again as high, adding to the height of it. That has, instead of the 30 or 40 nameplates around this, I don't know how many nameplates are on there for now, but there's a bunch. It'll last for a long time if we still are going to be flying models for a long time. But again, we can thank Raby for making this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Raby, thank you for showing that picture, Keith.
You're getting healed, so that's good.
Darn.
What you building, Bart?
Well, I'm up here at Gord Delaney's for a couple more weeks.
So you building an airplane or
I'm storing the too much. And
too much?
got a little half A up here that I'm gonna try to get covered. It's an
Oh,
Junior.
Super Aries.
So it's an I-beam half A Aries,
Super.
Super Aries.
did that get shown on here? Somebody showed something like that.
I put it on the Alberta page.
That's where I saw it. Good looking little airplane.
When you see the ribs and the stuff he put in there is so tiny, you have to be a sick person to build it.
I can say something, but I'm not.
You know, just the fact trying to build something like that, I'd be breaking more ribs than I could glue them in.
Me too. See, you got the combat flyer there. Sitting
Well,
on Brett's lap.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
I've got a story to talk about that Super Aries that Bill Warwich had.
All right.
That's at the 68 Olathe Nats. And I'm still kind of a newcomer to this game of flying national stunt. And I'd never met Bill Warwich before, but he was at that nationals. That's the first time I'd ever seen him, and he was flying this Super Aries, and I think it was red. And I wanted to watch him fly. And he was out on the field there on the concrete runway, and they started the engine and he let it go and he buzzed his prop on the takeoff. So the airplane wasn't going very fast. They were able to chase it down on the ground, and they picked up the airplane and tried to get that engine shut off, and they couldn't do that. So they ended up jamming the engine down into the concrete to finally get the engine shut off. In the process, they broke off a flap and did some other damage to the airplane.
Oh no!
That was the first time I'd ever seen Bill Warwich. And
look at that Aries.
yeah, and it's a pretty airplane. Of course, all the
look
way
at that.
drop dead gorgeous, but it was like Keystone Cops, where the guys were chasing that airplane. They caught it and trying to get that engine shut off and flinging it around, and finally jammed it into the concrete to get it shut off.
What kind of engine was that, Keith?
Well, he said it was a 40 of some kind, whatever. Who was it that was reworking engines for Warwich at the time? It was in a 40 case, but I think it was more than a 40. But because that was back in the days where you had to have bigger lines for anything bigger than a 40. He called it a 40, so it was a 40.
Okay. This is what I have in my fanny pack, and I'm right with you, Bart. In my fanny pack, I have I got it from the RC cars. They have this like plug that goes right into the header or to the muffler, and I will jam it into the exhaust to shut the motor off. Because sometimes when I'm by myself, I don't have an extra pair of hands, so I always have it on my person. It's a way for me to just plug the exhaust, and that usually shuts the motor off.
Yeah.
And you focus on Bart Kaplinski, making you big, Bart, so you can show you. Oh, look at that little darling.
Mhm.
Oh, it's just a fun little thing.
Oh my goodness. You're
Yeah.
sick, Bart. Look at the tail.
Wow.
Lightning holes. Lightning holes in this tail. Oh my goodness.
What's that weigh? About 4 ounces?
Weighs 4.5 ounces right now.
Jeez.
Got the cockpit taped off. It's got a full cockpit. The pilot's got a headset on, phone, the mic on his helmet, glass dials and all that stuff.
What engine?
It's going to be a 061.
Norvell?
No.
Big Mig.
A what?
You said a big wig. It's not a big.
Big Mig? That's Norvell.
No.
I can't think of it. It's been so long since I've seen it. This has been hanging on the wall for about, I don't know, 6-7 years.
10 years at least.
So anyway, it's the exact shrunk down plans for the Super Aries. It was kind of delicate to build. But I'm hoping it'll come out about 10 ounces ready to fly.
Oh my goodness.
It's a 33-inch wing, maybe a little small for the motor I'm putting in it. I don't know.
Are you gonna fly that in expert?
Yeah, you never know. Anyway, there's a lot of work. It's got a plywood bell crank in it, and it was just something I wanted to do one time, so I did it, and it's been just sitting for a long time. So it's time to get it finished up.
Well, it's gorgeous.
I'm sorry?
I say it's gorgeous. You shouldn't cover that up. It's too pretty in the boat.
Yeah.
Well, it's been out there out hanging on the wall for a long time, but I want to paint it. I think Bill had a red one with white, black, and gold trim or something, and I want to do it like that. It'll be another painted properly, but yeah, it's been fun. I
Oh
brought
my goodness.
more ribs than I've got in the airplane, but it is pretty delicate until I get it.
Yeah. It'll be a lot stronger once you get the covering on. That's harder to break things.
Yeah, if I don't break it first.
Yeah.
But no, it's just another airplane, and we'll see what happens. It should fly well.
Yeah. 10.5 ounces, 11 ounces. Yeah.
Long enough tail moment, and I think
You
it'll.
figure out how many square inches it has?
I really don't. I've never measured it.
It's got half of a Super Aries.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Super Aries was 62 inches. This one's 33. So
Yeah, roughly half.
I put that next to my too much. It looks kind of small. Yeah, we're going to see if we can get it covered this week and get it ready for paint anyway. And then the too much that I crashed a while back, that's being restored as well. So time to get some planes done that I have that need to be flown. And this might shake itself apart. I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Anyway, it's been fun.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bart. Appreciate it.
Charles, I have a picture to share that might be pertinent to Bart's airplane there.
All right, let me, did I fix that? Let me make sure you can share. I don't think I did that.
No, it says disabled.
Okay, it's enabled now. You're all set. Go ahead.
This is not Bill Werwich's airplane, but it's Charlie Reeves' airplane, and I believe it was a copy of Bill's airplane.
Great.
So, and Bart just mentioned something about a red Super Aries. And I think this might be where what he's talking about, when he's talking about trying to duplicate Bill's red design.
So you can leave. Thank
That
you.
is pretty. That's a pretty
Yeah.
picture.
And then Jim Lynch also did one. This is Jim's.
That's pretty.
And it looks like essentially the same, scheme and everything like that, just blue instead of red. But I don't know, it's such a pretty shape and everything like that. It's just
It is.
stunning.
It is.
Dennis, is that the same paint scheme as Bill Warwick's?
I believe it is. This is actually Charlie Reeves' airplane, but I believe this is a duplicate of Bill's red one.
Well, I can remember that his airplane was red, but that's all the detail.
Mhm.
There's only what, 60?
Yeah,
Well,
I
it looks
think
like
I've
it's
got a
got-
picture of it somewhere and I can't put my fingers on it, but I could find Charlie's and I thought it might
It
fit the
looks like the
discussion.
writing on the wing is gold.
Yep. Kind of an airbrushy, gold and black and all that, super airy. Let's see.
Borders, it looks like.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I saw that at VSC. It was a gorgeous airplane. Crashed it, if I'm not mistaken.
Charlie's a heck of a builder too. And I'm sure that was a gorgeous airplane in real life. So. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I just, thought it fit in pretty good with what Bart was showing us. That's all.
I appreciate that very much. And by the way, John Paris, he had to go, and earlier Jim Hoffman had to go. So if you're wondering where they went, they had to go.
Mm-hmm.
I think Howard's going to go practice. Looks like.
I don't know. Is he practicing or is he going to mow the lawn again?
The wind's blowing in the right direction. So I'm going to go out and fly those stunt.
I hope he has a running lawnmower.
Bringing some guys to help.
Wow, it's 8:45 and it's still light out there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of dark here in Escondido.
He's further north. It stays a little, it's like you get closer to the North Pole, but you get a longer light.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
you get the midnight sun, right? Well, maybe
Yeah.
not that.
Amazing. So I have a question. I was just listening to, I think it was Keith Trossel. I hear things like vertical.
Yeah, I think we would be farther west. Jim.
I hear things like vertical stab or horizontal. I hear all these different things, different of the same thing. The rudder is also called a vertical stab and stuff like that.
Correct.
I'm just curious about why there's different terminology. Why is it not just called rudder?
Well, the rudder is the part that moves on the end of the vertical stab.
Mhm.
So what I'm thinking is the rudder, the whole thing is called the vertical stab, and then the part that actually moves is actual rudder. So I'm mistaken thinking that the what I call the rudder is actually the vertical stab. Is that correct?
Well,
How I would look at it.
Okay.
I know.
Now,
But
earlier,
then-
Keith,
But
Go
then
ahead.
it's also called the fin if you're from Indiana. So,
Yeah.
and then what about the so then you have
Vertical
the
flipper.
on an actual airplane, you have maybe a trim tab on the rudder. The rudder is the part that moves. Then the fin is the part that doesn't move. And then in front, you have the dorsal, which is what slims down into the fuselage.
There you go.
if that gets all too frustrating, you just build a V tail and get past it.
That was good.
You fell into that one.
Hey, sometimes life hands you a punchline, right? So,
A free gift. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the explanation. I've always been curious why I hear these different terminology, and I'm thinking that the whole thing was the rudder, but it's not. The vertical stab.
Well,
Now
think
I'll
about it.
see.
On your elevator and your horizontal stab,
Yeah.
you're familiar with the horizontal stab is the part that doesn't move.
Right. And then you have the elevator.
The
which does
elevator
move.
is the parts that move.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That clarifies it. Hopefully I can remember that. But
It's not that important.
Let me throw a little mush in the mix. Then on the elevator, you'd have a trim tab. On the left, trim tab is gone, and the horizontal stabilizer trims up and down, like on a.
Yeah.
So Dennis, on your V-tail, what part the rudder?
I'm sorry, we must have a bad connection here.
Did you want me to repeat that? On your V-tail airplane,
Yeah, we still got a bad connection, Gordy.
I just want to know which one was the rudder, the left one or the right one?
All right.
Yes, the left one or the right, and the right one, yes. Or I
Very
should say,
good.
hopefully neither of them, so.
Well, that sun is just a few minutes short of setting over there.
Yeah, it is.
It's just just a little bit above the horizon.
That's it.
But he has enough
No
light to
wind.
fly.
Well, that's why you paint your airplane bright orange and yellow so you can fly it in the dark, so.
Oh,
You practice 24/7, man.
yeah. What was that? That looks like one of those pinking sheared wind tumblers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Is that a turbulator?
yeah.
They said that word, like picking chairs.
Yeah.
Works better than a stabilizer, whatever they call
Turbulator.
it. Thank you.
Are we inside of a hangar?
There's, let's
Look at this.
see that or not, but I've got there the chip strip, Zigzag chip strips.
Oh, chip
Yeah.
strips.
Yeah.
It worked.
How are those working for you, Howard?
Okay, I guess. I can tell the difference. I had the vortex generators on there and took them off and didn't miss them, so.
Yeah. Well, that wing's so slippery, the air just hardly touches it.
Could be.
We're in the paint room.
I like your design of your hosing there, how you have the copper pipe going up high to get rid of all the moisture. Is that right? Is that that's for?
Oh, that's Dennis Noonan's design. He published that on Stunthangar, and I copied it.
Very nice. Yeah. So you're using gravity to your advantage to get rid of all the moisture in your air system.
Yeah.
Great idea, Dennis. Dennis Nunez, if you're listening.
Yeah, the other Dennis, so. The smart one, so.
Oh, there are hundreds of them.
Oh, that's so many. Okay, all right, go.
All right.
There goes.
Right. Well, Lynn has been missing in action most of the show.
Yeah, he's online, but he's not there, so what the heck?
Yeah.
Well, I see his clock, but I don't see him, and
Mhm.
he's muted. So maybe he got called away. Maybe Naomi wants him to hold the plane so she can paint it for him.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe something like that.
Give something here to talk about. A couple sessions ago, we were talking about the Shark 35 that Lou McFarland did.
Right?
Yeah.
This was published way back, American Modeler 1961. At that time, I think that's the only plans available on this thing because the full-size version of a Shark 35 I don't think was ever published. But when I was going through my book not too long ago, Tom Dixon drew up the plans, and he was selling his plans. And I don't know whether he made a kit or not, but here's that Shark 35 according to Tom Dixon. So I'm sure he's still got the plans if you'd ever want to write to him.
Yeah.
Now RSM, they kitted the Shark 35.
Okay, that's right, he did, because yeah, after Whiteley flew his and it did so good, why, yeah, Eric went ahead and did the kit. But I think it's based on these plans.
Okay.
Ed Johnston has plans, I think, for the Shark 35.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Bob
think you're right.
Whiteley was deadly with that Shark 35 for several years.
Was that Gordon?
I said that Bob Whiteley was deadly with his Shark 35.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to beat. Boy, he connected with that airplane.
Now, does the Shark 35 fly better than the Shark 45?
Well, Whiteley flew it really good, but I think the 45 is a better airplane. A couple other people built it and wasn't too happy with it, but something about, well, Bob was a good pilot, but his airplane, he was just flew it so well.
He's a good trimmer too. So between that,
Mm.
piloting skills and trimming skills.
There's a
I
guy
watched
up in
his-
Michigan, not too far away, named Vince Bodie, been flying a Shark 35, I believe, out of the RSM kit for a long time, and he just absolutely loves it. So it's definitely a first-rate airplane for him. So.
It was for Bob also.
Mhm.
You never wanted to be ahead of him on first round. If you were, he's coming back strong on the second round.
Yeah.
It was a fierce competitor.
You know, he'd come up on the second round and then whoever would listen to him, he'd turn around and says, now watch this.
Well, you know, it's funny. I remember watching Lou McFarland fly, and he had that knack for second flights too. And you could see it in his body language somehow. He'd take off for a second flight, and his head would kind of tip over, kind of over his right shoulder a little bit. He's wearing his little hat and stuff, but his body language changed and everything like that. He just looked like he was, you know, he was on point, you know, when he was flying that second round flight. And he used to be good for a lot of big second rounds that way too.
That's the way Whiteley was too. He'd get up there, pick the handle up, and as soon as he just bared down into, you knew he was going for broke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, juggler.
Gordon experienced that a lot.
Well, we was having a meeting that was talking about having a master's class one time. And I told him, I said, Bob, I don't want one. He says, why not? He said, because I don't want you flying a master class when I beat you. And he said, hey, and I said it again, he said, it'll never happen. And I said, Bob, it's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but it's going to happen. And later, several years later, I started beating him. But boy, it was a workout. Mostly when I flew my Tony, that thing scored so well, it flew really nice. You know, it was light for its size, and it just a great airplane. And then the Nats on official flight, the flap horn broke.
Oh man!
And it came out of the second loop on the outsides. And Dave Fitzgerald looked at my wife, says, Sandy, what's he doing? She says, I don't know. You know, because I didn't do three, it just flew out level. And he looked at me and I pointed at my handle and moved it. He says, he's got a big problem. And I yelled at the officials. I was leaving the circle and ran over in the grass and missed all the grass and hit the hardest dirt you could possibly, ripped the motor out of it.
Oh.
Cartwheeled it. And it had broken about an 1/8 inch above the solder joint, you know, from the vibration of the 4-stroke.
So the actual the metal part of the horn broke off,
Yeah.
not the weld.
Nope.
Wow,
Broke above it.
that's crazy.
It was a pretty long horn. I think it hit a resonant frequency.
And you know, when I was building that, I thought, I wonder if I ought to put two uprights in there. And got a hold of me and says, no, you've never had one break before. So I only made one upright.
Oh, damn.
But I had it flying and painted within 2 weeks after I got back from the dance.
Wow.
Put new motor mounts in it, cut into the side, took out the horn and made new ones with the dual uprights. And I was worried I'd have to do an adjustment on there, you know, for trimming again. And went out and flew it. Flew exactly like it did before it broke. And then I let Roger Kramer fly it here a few years ago, and the lead out broke.
Oh, shucks.
Wakey, wakey.
Oh, man, it's messed up.
That was a good flying airplane, though.
Yeah.
The whole design, the one that broke, well, not broke, what was his name there in San Diego? You know him.
Dave Sabon,
Not Saban, the
Bob Brooks.
Bob Brooks. The one he built was gorgeous.
Yeah,
Gordy
it was.
flew, and he said he couldn't tell the difference between his and Brooks.
Right.
Yeah, he asked me to fly it for him. He was afraid to test fly it. And I says, well, I don't have any lines or fuel for that. And he says, well, if we can round them up, will you fly it? And it flew identical to mine. If you didn't know, you couldn't tell one from the other the way they performed.
Yeah, I have the motor out of that, Tony. I have the Stalker 81. That's how I got my first Stalker. It was from Bob Brooks.
Yeah, he had a Sato 72 originally in it.
Oh, okay.
Then he went to the Stalker, and I went to the Stalker. And I run 15%, and it just rumbled.
Huh.
And when I went down to California, the tank was too small.
Hmm.
I had to cut back my nitro and put a smaller Venturi in.
Right.
It flew okay, but didn't have that big run. So,
Pardon me, gentlemen. I got some people in the chat box. I want to explain something to them. I didn't do the monologue, so maybe you might have missed this explanation. But to get into this call, you need to be a registered member of Stunthangar Forum. That's stunthangar.com/SMF and register there. And when you register, you need to put a space between your real first and last name. You must have a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of the Stunthangar channel, will approve you. So that's how you get in. Now, if I know a person personally tonight, like I did with Gordon Delaney, I allowed him in because I knew who he was. But Deegan Martin, I don't know who you are. Peyton Lane, I don't know who you are. I understood you were a former pilot that flew with Maverick, but I don't know you, gentlemen. So register with stunthangar.com/SMF, and Sparky is spinning lots of plates. I can't assure you that he will approve you tonight, but we have a weekend, matter of fact, a long weekend, so he might approve you, and you can come in here maybe Monday night or for sure by next Friday. But that's how you get in. That's the traditional way. And that's the end of my commercial. And we're about ready to go into our after party. We just end the live stream at around 9 o'clock my time, and then we continue on, but without the cameras, streaming on the internet. But we've had a pretty good show. We've had as many as at the height of our viewing. We've had just one second, Keith. I'll go back to you in a second. We've had as many as like 30 people, actually, 31 live viewers, and the show continues on with replays, and it gets up to several hundred views. So thank you very much. We have 18 likes, a little bit short of the viewers. We have 31 viewers, only 18 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please smash that before I end the live stream, or just do it anyhow. And let me turn my attention to the photograph that Keith has for us.
Yeah, we showed this before. This shows Gordy's zero or 20. And Gordy, did you ask for a copy of this? I think you did.
no, I didn't get one. It's going to get one for me.
Okay.
Just for clarity, we go ahead and explain who those people are. I know who they are, but our audience might not know who these gentlemen are.
Kurt.
Kurt Mullenix.
With the P4, with the Corsair.
And I don't remember his name. Then that lucky guy on the end is Keith Russell.
So the guy with the 0 is Ron Burns.
Yeah.
That's the guy that had the Wildcat that,
Yeah.
with the scale finish. Yeah.
Beautiful on an airplane.
Hey,
So Gordy, you say you're getting a picture of this?
Yeah, I'd sure like you to send me one.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
There have been some really nice, almost scale stunners through the years. I can tell you that Gordy's Tony was in many ways very close to the only place it wasn't scale was the wing itself was wasn't as high aspect ratio as the original, and the fuselage was 7% narrower top to bottom.
Within 2%.
What was that?
It was within 2% of scale.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Let me say hi to Jeff Riley. He came in here live, and I appreciate it, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Good. How are you doing, Charles? And everybody else?
So you and Dennis Adamison, VIPs, where I give me the likes and then coming in live. I appreciate that. I'm going to end the live stream though. My voice. I'm glad that I was able to talk through the whole show. So we're going to end the live stream, and we're going to continue into what we call the after party. And until then, good night, everyone. We will see you Monday. Hopefully have some fun, and happy 4th of July.